Plus, the new investing advice for college grads. The 5 smart things they can start doing right now to save more. Smart Family starts right now. Well, more expert money advice when we return. The new investing advice for college grads. The 5 simple things they can do right now to get on the road to major savings.
Let's talk money. With the economic crisis of the past few years, young adults have had a tough time envisioning a prosperous future, and for good reason. According to Kiplinger.com, the median income for 25 to 34-year-olds in 2009 was $50,199. That's actually 7.5% lower than the salaries were back in 1999 after adjusting for inflation. Add to that an increase in college graduates who are now paying their own way through college, and many grads are starting out with a big load of debt and a low salary to pay it back. Well, joining us now is Patsy Nodilo. She is the CEO of Pathlight Investors, and it's always nice when she's on the phone because she kind of on the TV with us because you kind of clear the way for us and help us see the future a little brighter.
I'm glad to be here, Connie.
Nice to have you. So let's talk for just a second about what your best advice is really for college graduates that would be different than it really would be for those 30 and 40-year-olds right now.
I think the most important thing really is to remember what's happened recently to the economy and maybe even to some of your parents, and to pay attention to your expenses. Don't spend more than you make.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard.
It really is hard, especially for people who have a little bit or a smaller salary when they're first starting
Exactly,
out.
exactly.
But, you know, it's funny when you see all the credit cards that the college kids get, and they haven't even started with earning any income yet. So they come out of college with a big debt there too.
Yeah, a lot of times college kids have a huge debt when they come out of school, and that just puts you behind the 8 ball to start with.
So the most you can do to live on that little paycheck is really going to kind of set you up for a lifetime.
Absolutely. You have to have a budget.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how old you are or when you start out. It's very important to budget what you have to spend.
Okay. Let's do some math, and I know you've provided this for us on what it's going to take for this group to retire and how they really have time on their side if they do it wisely.
Exactly.
Okay. So as you take a look at this, we've got basically if you average that they're going to live for 90 years and that they probably will have 25 years of retirement, then we're looking at saving $700 a month starting at the age of 22 will get you $50,000 in salary for 25 years of retirement.
That's right, and that's really without eating into the principal, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But you've got to start early. The earlier you start, the better you are. And then you need to pay attention to doing careful investing and investing for the long term. Don't try to follow the latest trend, get in and out of the last year's hot deal. It really is important, I think, to know that. And maybe to learn early on a little bit of basics about investing. Yeah. I know we've got a spot on our website that talks about, you know, things that we look at in investments, and people are welcome to go there and take a look at Pathlightinvestors.com and take a look at some tips before they maybe make a decision.
Yeah. Let's go back to what you said just a minute ago, which is not dipping into your principal, because we've got another graphic that shows how compound interest is really your friend if you start out early.
Absolutely.
And basically, look at this, because it really is amazing, and it doesn't have to start with anything big, but let's say you put $200 away every single month until you're 65 years old, and that money earns 8% return. If you start when you're 20, you have $970,000 when you get to retirement age. And the thing about that's so wonderful is then you leave that alone, and now you're getting that $50,000 in interest as your salary.
That's right, and you still have your principal.
Yeah, so you never touch that.
Yes.
And eventually you retire and you just pass it on to your kids or something. But the main thing is that you've got that nest egg, so you don't have to worry about it.
Very important.
Okay, can we go back to the graphic for just a second? Because for people who are in their 30s and 40s who are watching us too, tell us what happens there for them.
You know, if you don't start in your 20s and you wait until you're 30, you have half as much money, $430,000. And if you don't start until you're 40, saving that same amount of money, you would only have $183,000. And I would say currently most people don't start until they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer to start young and stick with your program.
Be consistent about it.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent.
So help us understand how we get there. You say start early, start early. You also said earlier just live in your budget, and we all, no matter what age you are, have a hard time doing that.
It is hard because we're so tempted, and I think there's so, we're of a generation that's kind of the me generation. Everybody, we want it and we want it now, and with credit we can get it now. But credit, taking on too much credit and leveraging what you have is the undoing of a lot of people.
So pay off those high credit.
Pay off those high credit card interest rates first. You'll never get ahead if you're paying 18% interest on something.
Your other quick tip is invest in your 401ks in your company.
Absolutely.
Also, always match out that company match.
Yeah, because most companies will have a match. Yeah. And that's just free money to you. So if you're putting away $500 and they match and you get an additional couple of $100, it really adds up fast.
Free money, yeah. And you say invest for the long term. Patsy, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
All right. Patsy Nodilo is with Pathlight Investors, and if you'd like more information, you can check them out online.